Hey guys, Kyle here with Gnarly Knives. Gonna do a quick video for you showing you my carving kit. This might be helpful for some people who are getting into carving, maybe aren't sure 100% what they want to get or what they might need. So I'm gonna just start it off with the larger materials. These are things you don't need right away. These are just things that over time you can add to your kit, but they're great to have. You can use them for carving as well as retrieving and gathering materials. The first thing is gonna be this here. This is a small hatchet made by the Prandi company, made in Italy. Really doesn't matter too much. Just find something that works for you, that's in your price range. What I like about this is that it does have a pretty narrow bit, so it does make it really good for chopping as well as doing carving, holding things up and reducing the material that way. It also works great for doing some small splitting tasks. I mean, I'm not chopping cords of wood with this, but this is great for small stuff. It's also great for around camp with a small camp axe. Find something that works for you, but this is something that I think would work really well, especially I like the handle. It's a good size that I can choke up on it and do a little bit finer if I'm not trying to do full-on swings. If you do like this, these do go for about $40, $45. This specific one is the European style. Another good thing, I would say even before the axe or a hatchet, would be to get a good folding saw. Now I do have a couple examples, but one of them is buried with my gear somewhere. This one here is a Japanese saw. It's made by the Silky company. This one's the Silky Gomboy 270, which means it's 270 millimeters. Right around 11 inches, just under 11 inches in blade length. This one, if you have used saws before, it's a little different. This one cuts only on the pull stroke, so it's a little different. If you've never used saws before or a very limited usage with them, it really doesn't make that much of a difference. Whichever one you use first and use most, you'll get more used to using. That one is a little bit on the higher end. This one does go for about $45. What I would recommend is a little bit smaller than this, is the Baco Laplander, which has about a 7-inch blade. And that one, the way it's set up, you can cut on the forward and pull stroke. That one's a lot better priced as well. That's the one I used for years. That one goes for about $20 to $25. Now, getting into certain knives that you want to use, great for carving are what's called a Scandinavian grind. So you can see the shadow, that whole tall portion. There is the edge. Now for doing woodworking, even good for some food tasks, food prepping, they are very delicate edges, but they are very, very sharp edges. That's what makes them so great for woodworking. This one is the Mora Classic 2.0. This one I would probably not recommend for someone who's first getting into using knives. It does not have a finger guard, and I mean, granted, yeah, you're not going to be doing stabbing with it. Well, you shouldn't be anyway. But you do have more of a chance of running your finger up on the blade. So for someone who's newer to this, it might be better to start with another knife like shown right here. This is also by Mora. This one is the Mora Companion. This one is a really great way to go. This one is about $15, and they do come in a range of colors. You have pink, blue, green, lime green. This one's the olive drab. This one, if you're going to just get one of these knives, this is the one I'd probably recommend. You can get this for about $15, sometimes a little less, but usually find them in the $15, $16 range. These ones are really good. You have a 4-inch blade, and it lends itself, it's very versatile. I love doing carving with these. I probably have 5 or 6 of these in different colors. They also have the HD, the heavy duty companion, which is about 1/8 of an inch thick, so about 3.2 millimeters. This one is thinner at about 2.5 millimeters. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it is a bit of a difference. Another good knife I like to use, this one is by Cold Steel. This one you can usually get for about $20. This one's the Finn Hawk. This one is very similar. It's very reminiscent of Mora. Again, you can see that shadow, that Scandi grind. These knives are super sharp. I really enjoyed these a lot. This one does give a lot of grip, and you do have the forward finger grip. And then towards the back, you do have that area to catch. These are a really good way to go as well. I really like these a lot. What I would say as well, if you do like the full-size knives, but sometimes you want something a little smaller, what I really enjoy, I actually carve with quite a bit, is what's called the Cold Steel Fin Wolf. This is basically a folding version of the Fin Hawk. This one is a really great way to go. This is great. You can just see it as the clip. Keep it right in your pocket. It is razor sharp. I really enjoy this knife a lot. Like I said, I do a lot of carving with it. All of these knives that I'm showing, I've done extensive carving with and have a lot of usage. But I just want to show you guys some different examples. I do have tons of other knives that fit into this category, but these are just some good basic ones and a little bit more on the budget side, because I do have some carving knives that, you know, you go up $100 or more. But if you're just trying to get into knives or getting into carving, I recommend going on the lower end just to see that you like it first. This one here is probably one a little bit more. This one probably getting the $25-ish to $30 range, but it's also a really great way to go. You do have the lock on the, it's a back lock. That is also a great knife. And then just this one, because it's a little and cute. You might have seen this if you watched the Benchmade Freak review. This one is the Mora Eldris. This one, it looks a little silly, of about a 2-inch blade and a very fat handle. But even for such a small knife, I do have larger hands. This knife fits into my hand very well. It's very good if you're doing more precision or very much finer carving tasks. This one is a really good way to go. And they do come in 2 different variants and also a multitude of colors. But you get it just basic like this. It's about $20-25 bucks. And then they do also have a version that comes with a piece of paracord. You can hang it around your neck like a neck knife. And it'll also come with a ferrocerium rod. So it's not a bad little way to go. But this is a good knife too. Say if you're starting to get a little more into carving, you want to diversify the knives that you're using. Now, what I would recommend too, especially if you're starting that you want to be able to do a multitude of different carving tasks, a good way to go is if you want to start doing bowls and spoons or just anything that would need a concavity carved into it. Well, you have these spoon knives. These are also made by Mora. Mora does make a lot of carving materials. They are a Scandinavian company. They're out of Sweden. So basically what you have here, instead of having a straight blade, it does round and it is curved. This particular one, it is, now the ones like this, they are right and left-handed. This one I'm right-handed, it's right-handed. They do have some, I do have 2 other examples where they're actually sharpened on both sides. This is sharpened only on the one. If you really are just going to get one just to start, I would recommend one of these with a shorter sweep in between them, because you can do larger carving with a smaller blade, but you can't do smaller carvings with a larger blade. And then what's good too, because it is sharpened on the one side, you can get your thumb up on it, or depending how you're holding it, just for extra grip and a little more torque while you're carving. Whereas with the ones that are sharpened on both sides, you will cut yourself, as I have done a couple of times, and get a nice circular cut in your finger. Another one, so this would be here. This is another one from Mora. This is very similar in size and shape, but this one is sharpened on both sides. You can see the sweep. They're pretty similar. This one just a little bit wider, but you do have the bevel sharpened on both sides. And the sharpened portion does start from here, right before where the curve starts. So you can put your finger up a little bit higher, but I would just say be very careful. These are great because then it lends you can carve in different directions depending on what you're doing and what position you are carving in. But it does lend itself to be very useful. I would just say if you're starting out, it might be better to start with the one that's only sharpened on the one side, as it is a bit safer. Now, if you're doing larger bowls or larger spoons, this one is actually a really great way to go. There's another one by Mora, but you can see you got that nice fat open sweep. You see it compared to this one here. See what you kind of got going. Now this one's great. This one will remove a lot of material, but like the second one that we looked at, this is also sharpened on both sides, so you will want to be careful with it. And then to protect them, I have seen they are starting to release them with little sheaths. I got these before I started noticing them doing that, but I know I do a good amount of leather working, so whenever I have scraps or something, I'll save them, and I just made little wraps for them. They all just have little tiny wraps just to protect myself and the blade. Mostly the blade I can heal, the edge won't. Actually, it goes like this. There we go. The other ones I will wrap off camera. You have to sit through. But, you see, it is a good way to keep them, and they look cool. And you can tell people, yeah, I made that too. But, and it keeps it nice and protected, and then away in the carving kit it goes. Now, I do keep some other materials in here, or some other equipment, not so much for the carving as it is to maintain the carving tools. One thing I will keep is I keep the small little sharpening stones when you can get at Walmart in their camping section. I only just got it because it's small and it just fits good in kits. This is by no means top quality, but it's $2-3. If you lose it, you break it, whatever. I maintain them with my other stones. This is just, I take these out in the woods with me sometimes, or, if I'm away, if I'm camping, I don't have all of my stones with me. So I like to keep a little one. I can put a good edge on it. And there's a coarse and fine. It's not a bad way to go. I will do a video, see how sharp of a knife you can get with just one of these little stones. Also going with the sharpening aspect, or the honing, stropping if you will, I do keep a strop for my straight edge blades. I keep it with compound on one side and bare leather on the other. The compound, it's easy to do on a flat surface, but just for demonstration, it is a very, very fine compound. But what it does, it will remove a little bit of material, but it just helps bring that edge right back. You just put the compound right on the strop, and then, actually, let's use this here, paramilitary too. You would do this on a flat surface. I'm just showing this for sake of example. You just strop your edge, just bring that edge right back. And then after that, I'll just bring it over to the clean side without the compound on it. And just boom. And then you're ready to go. Now for the curved blades. Alright, because I tried with the flat strops doing the curved blades, and it's not the most fun. But what I did do is I got just a little larger piece of leather and a dowel, just glued it on. Basically do the same thing. Just throw your compound on. And what's nice is you can do it a couple different ways. So you can either move the knife along the strop, or you can just roll your strop up over it, whichever works better for you. But it is important to strop both sides of the edge. So what's nice is even this one here actually just fits right on. But you do kind of the same thing. I'll just kind of give it a little roll and just bring that edge right back. If you keep your knife sharp, if you strop it while it's still sharp, it won't get dull. You won't have to sharpen. I mean, a lot of times I just sharpen anyway, just because for me it is fun. Alright. Also, what else do we keep? And then this is just kind of more for, like I said, I take this out in the woods, and I don't know why I would lose everything and only be stuck with my carving kit, but if I were to have that happen, I do keep just a little ferrocerium rod with the striker, and then this here is just, I just found it and threw it in here. I forgot it was even in here, but one of those magnesium blocks with the ferrocerium rod, and also has a little striker on it. Isn't really necessary, it's just what I got in there. Also, because some of the knives I do have a mix of carbon and stainless knives, but what I like to do is I like to keep a coating of fix-and wax. Now I do make my own. This stuff I got a while back. This one I got off of the Self-Reliance Outfitters website that Dave Canterbury has, and everybody knows Dave Canterbury. This stuff they make at the Pathfinder School. It's just animal fat and beeswax. I think they add vitamin E to it. The stuff I make is just the animal fat and beeswax, but this stuff works really, really good. It does keep that nice coating on your blade, and it's really easy to apply. Just for the example, I'll use the Eldris, though this is stainless steel, but I do also treat my stainless steel knives, especially if I know I'm not going to be using them for a while. Stainless just means it'll stain less. Does not mean it's rust proof, though there are some rust proof knives, but at some point in the future I want to do a video talking about all different steels. It'll probably be a really long video, just with lots of rambling and ranting. And that'll be one for the people who just want to nerd out with me. But back to the fix and wax, how I'll do it. You don't need to cover it entirely with this. You don't have to like color it in. But just give it a few passes. And then just use your finger. Just be careful. And just wipe away from the blade so you don't have to risk cutting yourself. And then I'll do the same on the other side. Just give it a few passes. And then boom. And also don't forget the spine. Just give that a quick pass. And then that's it. Simple as that. What else? I do generally keep a pencil in here. I'm not sure where that went. I will have to throw another one in there, but also keep a Sharpie in. Not really why the Sharpie, because it kind of stains the wood depending on how deep you're carving. If it's something fine, I'll just use the pencil. But this is really good if you want to draw something out that you're carving. I'll use the pencil generally, but if I'm drawing something out that's going to be a little more intricate or elaborate, just to stay in the lines and not to violate them. Because then it breaks your heart when you mess up. And then these I just carry just more for the fun of it, just because I like to carve little wood spirits, you know, so these are more specific for that, for me, anyway. I mean, people use these for anything else, but, so you just have this little tiny gouge, you kind of see that little convex there, and then this one is like a straight 90 degree. What I use this one for, the 90 degree one, I use this for like carving out little designs for the beard, and then to carve out the eyes, or if I want to hollow out the mouth to do some teeth, I'll use the gouge just to kind of clear everything out where you won't be able to really fit the tip of a knife in or very effectively do that. What else? So that's honestly really it. I just wanted this to be kind of a quick, comprehensive, you know, what are good things to carry, what's a good way to start out, you know, and a lot of this stuff you can, honestly, for like 50, 60 bucks, you can get going, and even less than that, honestly. It really depends on what it is you want to do, how into it you want to get. I would recommend just starting on the lower end with things. Just, you know, if you don't get into it, why spend all this money on something if you're going to use it a few times? But I just wanted to show you a few examples of stuff that I like to use and what I find to be the most useful to me. This kit is ever evolving. You know, I will do update videos on my carving kit in the future. And then, actually here too, I'll show you. This is just a little, this is from a car we had years ago, my parents when I was a kid. It was like a little emergency kit. You know, I had first aid kit, gloves, road flares, stuff like that. But what's nice about it is you do have the two sections. So you have this little mesh portion is where I just keep a lot of the like sharpening, mostly the maintenance items go over here, and some of the smaller knives. And then here, you know, you keep about 4 or 5 knives stacked in. I usually keep more. I don't know, I just love shoving tons of knives everywhere because I have a problem. But I really hope you liked this video, guys. I hope you got a lot out of this. I really hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, please leave a comment, ask me. I will respond and get back to you as soon as I can. Please leave a like, comment, share, subscribe. You know, let me know what you guys think. What else do you guys want to see? I mean, these knives I will do some reviews on, as well as some of the other ones. You know, at some point maybe I'll do a video on some higher end carving equipment, if you will. Some of the stuff will be the same. I really just have the one hatchet and the 2 saws, but maybe I'll find the Baco Laplander. I would love to do a review on that. And then the Silky, I've only had that for a few weeks. I've used it a few times, so I'm going to get more use with that before I go and recommend it. But thank you guys. I really hope you enjoyed this. Have a great night. Keep carving.